given the massive quantity of dollars and bank credit that have been printed, certainly since the Lehman crisis, gold and silver are as cheap as it is that certainly when it comes to gold, the authorities do not like the idea of seeing a rival to their fiat currencies. I think they are very sensitive to that. On the one hand, they're concerned about the future of their fiat currencies, and they will include gold in their reserves because there is no counterparty risk to it. I mean, you know, US government being a counterparty, do you want to hold dollars or do you want to hold something which doesn't have that risk? So, you know, that I think is a very important point. But the thing that's interesting when it comes to silver and governments, they don't hold any silver, or they certainly don't hold it on the central banks. I mean, whether there is any sort of industrial stockpile. I mean, I think countries like China would run an industrial stockpile, but there's very little evidence of it. I mean, the US used to run huge stockpiles, 20 million ounces, I don't know, whatever it was. There's no evidence of that anymore. That's all been sold off so far as we're aware. So they don't really have any control over the silver price. But if silver starts suddenly shooting north, there are two problems. First of all, the bullion banks still deal in silver, and they don't like being caught short. They are not hugely short. They are a little bit short at the moment. So that's not an enormous problem, but it's the warning sign. Silver is the canary, if you like, in the gold mine, which is sort of about to keel over because there's something wrong in the system.
Yes.
And I think it's from that point of view that the establishment is not keen to see silver price rise. And of course, you've got the other thing. You've got huge, great industrial interests who want to keep the price down. So I think this is probably where China comes in too, because they're the largest manufacturers of solar panels in the world. They've been industrializing at a huge pace and are still continuing to do so. And I think they would naturally want to see silver as you know, can do this, push the price down, push the price up, whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, and it may be sometime in the future, but at the end of the day, markets always return, if you like. Pricing comes back. You know, pricing gives you the right economic signals. We're not getting the right economic signals at all at the moment because of the suppression of interest rates. The amount of money that's being literally hosed into financial markets. I mean, 120 billion a month going in from the Fed into pension funds and insurance companies in the form of QE. I mean, this is just massive. This is just market rigging, complete market rigging. The markets are fundamentally broken. And part of that is the suppression of precious metals so that they don't indicate that markets are broken. That is going to change. We don't know when. We don't know what event is going to suddenly switch, flick a switch, but it will happen. And then you will see that I think precious metals will be on a completely different price level. Now, when that happens, you're either in or you're out, because just imagine that we're moving towards that $50 price level for silver that you mentioned. You know, we wake up one morning and find that suddenly it's $35 bid. What are you going to do? Are you going to panic in? Or are you going to say, hold on a minute, I think it's going to, you know, don't rush. Let's just let it settle down and then we will look at a level to buy some. But it doesn't settle down. It's 40 bid. What are you going to do now? Oh dear, I think I've missed it. Look, I've been there myself. I know exactly what this trading situation can be like. You know, what the hell do you do? And you end up buying it at $60 to see it drift back to 40. You know, I mean, that's always the fear. So, and I mean, you've got exactly this psychology with Bitcoin at the moment. I mean, you know, if you missed it at $5,000, then, you know, and you're now at $56,000, what are you going to do? Do you believe Elon Musk and all the rest of it that is going to go to $1 million or something? You know, when things are moving, you're either in or you're out. It really is as simple as that. So, this is what I tell everybody. I mean, if you believe my story that fiat currencies are extremely dangerous and in danger of collapsing, along with financial markets, because markets are broken, then you must have some insurance against that event. And that insurance is physical ownership of some gold and some silver. I mean, it's as simple as that. Bitcoin isn't going to save you under these circumstances at all. Because just think, I mean, people talk about Bitcoin being the money of the future, but just imagine a bond market running in Bitcoin. You'd have to have deeply negative interest rates because the supply is capped at 22 million, whereas, the global economy evolves, if you like, and people's standard of living tends to improve. That's not going to happen with Bitcoin. It can happen with gold and silver because you have got mine supply, and not only that, but you've got supply from other uses. I mean, if you look at gold as the easy one to talk about, but I mean the central banks have got about 35,000 tons of gold, so they can make. This is assuming they haven't got rid of it, which is certainly possible to a degree anyway. But I mean, they can turn their fiat currencies into gold substitutes at some level. So, that's fine. And then you've got obviously people like us who might have some gold, which was sitting there. And there's quite a lot of it. I would say that monetary and quasi-monetary gold is probably around about 80 tons of the 190 to 200,000 ton total. So you can see that if demand for gold goes up because economies demand it, the private sector demands more money, if you like, then it's there in the form of scrap. It migrates from use as jewelry or whatever into a monetary use. And this is desperately important. You've got to have the flexibility, but the flexibility is with the people, not with governments. That is the key. That is the key to understanding it. And silver is very, very much part of that story. It really is.